becoming a Microsoft MVP. And hopefully Frank is going to join us because we want to acknowledge Frank today. So let me take the time and just introduce Journey to the Cloud Microsoft Speaker Hub. My name is Teresa Sires, and I am a Microsoft 365 trainer. This is my second year as a MVP for apps and services. I do have a YouTube channel, and I write blogs as well. But with Journey to the Cloud and Microsoft Speaker Club, here's a community that allow IT professionals like me to share our experience. We network and inspire each other on professional and a personal level. What we have started as a professional connection also turns into a personal one. If people have been following me, Dan and I met about a year ago, and he was able to come and visit and stay a couple days with me, my husband and I. So it was a really nice, network turning into a friendship. I always like to have a quote, and the quote for this month is by Winston Churchill. It says, "Success is not final. Failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts." So I thought that was a perfect quote for today's topic. You don't have to be an MVP to contribute to Journey to the Cloud. We are looking for PVMs, and PVMs are passionate, visionary, and maximizers. So if you have a expertise that you want to share, please give any of us a call and connect with us. As you can see on the screen, we are a global group with a diverse background. Dan is apps and services and teams as well, I believe now. And we're both from the United States. Matthew Brown is from Ireland, and hopefully Frank will join us. Solomon is also from the UK. Expertise is in Azure. And Pratad, who is from India, and he's an AI expert. So diverse group, and we share our experiences. We meet every first Thursday of each month. We are flexible with the time. Normally it's at 3:00 Eastern time. Today is a special edition, so we started an hour early. If you haven't already, you can subscribe to the Microsoft Speaker Hub to connect to, we post upcoming events, we publish articles that you actually contribute to this group. We also provide speaking tips as well. And Dan, I always forget to do this. Can you tell us how many followers we have? And this group is about 2 years old now.
I can look that up real quick.
Okay.
We are at 2,375 followers.
Very good. So we've gained like over close to 200 followers since last month. So that's great. So I'll turn it over to everyone and let them introduce themselves. Starting with you, Dan, since you were one of the founding members of this group.
Sure. Thank you, Teresa. Matthew Brown approached me in, I want to say 2022, and had an idea of a Journey to the Cloud event that we would host probably every other week whenever we were available. We didn't have like a date or a specific time. It was typically in the evening in Ireland. And he introduced me to Frank Falvey. And I believe he was also the person that connected with Solomon Jeremiah originally. And we formed this. By 2023, we decided Journey to the Cloud should be a monthly show because Frank Falvey decided to have a weekly Azure and AI show, which is on Saturdays now. It was originally on Fridays. And the idea of Journey to the Cloud was to showcase various voices from the community, It was also pulled out of the Microsoft Speakers Hub, which Teresa, you mentioned, the newsletter and some other things related to that. I've been an MVP in both Teams as a subset, so Microsoft 365 apps and services, Teams and Copilot this year. Mm-hmm. And Frank was awarded in the Copilot category on October 1st.
Great. I wanted to mention we had people that I remember once I joined the group. We talked about technical writing. We had speakers that shared with us about from being a Microsoft partner. That was really interesting. Dan had a group of women to share their experience with drones that got a lot of views as well. So again, I just wanted to people to know that whatever your background is and how you want to contribute to this group, you are welcome. So very good. So what I wanted to do today is, again, I hope Frank join us today, that talk about becoming a Microsoft MVP. And I want to do it from two perspectives. So I always like to say PVM to MVP. All I did was just reverse the letters and came up with passionate, visionary, and maximizers, because you have to be passionate about what you do before, the MVP comes with it, right? So I have letters, letters on the screen. If you are a MVP, choose letters. They are the same. Choose letters. And I have questions develop around from a MVP perspective, and I have questions that you can respond to from a non-MVP. So that's what I want to do today. And Steve, I know that you have worked with Frank, and it's all about acknowledging Frank today as well. And introduce yourself and share who you are. And who's
Scott Hanselman has joined.
Hi, Scott. How are you?
Hi, Teresa. How are you?
I'm fine, thanks. So I'll just briefly just give how we're going to manage today. Today is talking about MVP, how to become an MVP or your experience. Choose a letter. For non-MVPs, PVM. If you are MVP, choose the letters from that. I have questions that we are just going to have a discussion. Here's an opportunity from different perspectives on, from the MVP program. Okay, I'm rambling. So, so Dan, you want to go first?
Why don't we let Scott go first as our guest from Redmond? And Scott, you're welcome to do a quick introduction as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I apologize. I was asked very kindly by Dan to crash the party, and I did not mean to take away anyone's shine. And I realized, Teresa, you probably didn't know I was going to pop in. So,
no worries at all.
I just, Dan asked me to come by, and I wanted to congratulate Frank. And then I understand also, is it Nikia Carter received her MVP as well?
Nikia, yeah. She was awarded on Monday.
Is Frank around, or is Frank watching?
Frank will be watching for certain, Scott. So
lovely.
Welcome to shout him out. And
well, shout out to everybody. Becoming an MVP is a challenge. I actually was looking around. I think I've got some old. I was an MVP in 2004, 20 years ago. Mm-hmm. I've still got that stuff. It was a high point in my career, and it led in no small part to my current career at Microsoft. I live in Portland, Oregon, actually. I'm not in Redmond.
Okay.
And I've worked here in Portland the entire time. So I started my kind of career as like outreach and eventually became an MVP, kind of working the small rooms, which is the analogy that I really like to use. It's kind of like stand-up comedy. Everybody wants to go speak at Build. Everyone speaks at the Power Platform Conference. Everyone wants to do that big thing, but you got to work the small rooms. Mm-hmm. And I was listening to an interview recently where they were talking about Eddie Murphy. Mm. Eddie Murphy was 17 years old, doing stand-up, and he would go out at local clubs. And one time someone saw him, I think it was Dan Aykroyd, saw Eddie Murphy performing to one guy. Mm-hmm. and he gave it his all as if there was a room full of 100 people.
Mm-hmm.
And in this time right now on social media, where we see people on Twitter getting 100,000 followers, and all their Twitter is asking open-ended questions about JavaScript. It's just blatant engagement based. And then they get to pat themselves on the back going, hey, look at me, I've got 100,000 followers because I post memes about programming. I appreciate that we give love and appreciation to folks that are working the small rooms, talking to one person, local user group organizers. Those are the engine of community, not the posers on social media that are not really doing the work. So I just want to give a shout out to everybody who is quietly grinding, because that is so appreciated. Your local events, your small code camps. It's not just show up and suddenly you're speaking at Microsoft Build, or show up and suddenly you're at Ignite. So I worked the small rooms for years. I did 100 episodes of my podcast before anyone even listened.
Mm-hmm.
No one listening. So I just have a warm place in my heart for, like, the Twitch streamer with one viewer.
Mm-hmm.
Not
You
that
can
that
reach
is
one
Frank,
person. That's just as rewarding.
because if you talk to one person, you've doubled your impact.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're not talking to yourself. You talk to 10 people, give yourself some grace and some appreciation. 10 people. And a friend of mine, actually, one of my coworkers, started a little mentorship group on LinkedIn. She had 100 people show up.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
100 people show up on her mentorship group live on LinkedIn. And those are people now that could possibly get a job. They're doing, career coaching, mentorship coaching. We need to give ourselves a lot of credit for speaking to a couple of dozen people. And then when you do get your MVP, maybe you'll talk to 1,000 people and it'll get bigger and bigger and bigger. But I just don't like the way we seem to be devaluing outreach if it's not to 20,000 people. A dozen people, if it's the right dozen, matter.
I had a webinar and 100 people said they were going to attend, and only a handful showed up. And I told them, one or many, you still going to get all of me.
I
was
love
my
that.
line.
You have the right attitude. That is very healthy and a fantastic example.
Yeah, I said, one or many, you still going to get all of me.
Yeah, and just to add on to that, definitely, Scott, and the MVPs and all, and as you mentioned, starting off with a small room, definitely it's a huge impact that you make. And to be honest, Scott, I don't want you to sound old. Like 10, almost 12 years back, I used to be a Microsoft student partner, and watching you guys around everything and the MVPs at that point of time doing loads of stuff, that actually like pulled me into the tech, and I'm doing all Azure at the moment. I got my MVP. That's all because of the other communities and the MVPs who did a great job sharing the knowledge. And at some point of time, like even in college, when people are talking about really small things and people are just starting with computer science, I had like loads of knowledge on Azure because someone is sharing all those things. And at that point of time, it was Windows, Azure, and we were like, oh, we can do something here.
Yeah,
that was really great.
And now look at you. You've got thousands of followers on LinkedIn. You were at the M365 Summit presenting recently. You've now recently moved to Dublin, and you're killing it. And you're talking to people and teaching in large classrooms. So, kudos to you. You're a living example of what we're talking about.
exactly.
Yeah, and probably gonna meet you in Aberdeen.
And I will see you in Aberdeen in 2 weeks. Even better.
Awesome. And OPME Stephen was the person that suggested that we celebrate Frank today. So OPME, thanks for the suggestion.
Great, what?
Yeah.
That is very generous and thoughtful and kind to do that. To just simply tell people that you appreciate them has a lot of value. And I think that we don't do that enough.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and Scott, I really appreciate you doing that for Matthew Brown a year and a half ago, maybe 2 years ago when he became an MVP. And I appreciate you coming on to shout out Frank. I know your schedule is busy, so I appreciate your time. If you can join us for the PVM to MVP discussion, you're more than welcome to. If you have places to go, you're welcome to.
I hope you would. I hope none of you will be offended. I am triple booked right now, and I'm just stopping by on the way to another thing.
Totally
But
understand.
again, I apologize, Teresa, for interrupting because I just popped in. He's like, "What's going on?" But I do appreciate your welcoming and your patience and your kindness.
No worries.
Much.
This is what it's all about. Flexibility.
I'm sure
All
Frank
right.
will have a huge smile on his face when he realizes what happened.
All right. Hi, Frank, and I'll see y'all later.
Take care,
Thanks,
Scott.
everyone.
Thank you so
Bye.
much.
Yeah, bye-bye.
Very
Yeah, I
good.
think just to add to what Scott said. Yeah, I think it's cool because what most people don't realize is that like I used to say at times, because I know, yeah, like for example, we have like Instagram, we have people that buy followers, and you see people having like 1 million followers, and when they go on live, you just see like 5 people on live with them, 20. So what I asked myself, I said, okay, how do you get this follower? How come you want to speak now? You don't have people, viewing, watching you. So I just think people should just look at, no matter what it takes, just keep on going. Like somebody like me, and I love what I do. Like I just came back from work and I jump into the meeting now. So if you call me for anything, I'm always available for you. Why? Because that's what I love to do. I don't care who is watching me. I don't care who is looking at me. But the most important, as long as I'm making impact, that's the most important. Like one of my uncles usually said, he said if you are good at something, no matter where you are, no matter even if there's no Google map to get to your location, people will definitely look out for you. No matter how, as long as you are good in that particular thing, just to keep going and not to give up. And I think that's most reason why I just okay, let's give Frank a shout out, because I could remember there was a time nobody joined the call. I think I was busy, but I just joined on YouTube, and I saw he just alone. He was just doing his thing. I was what's this? This takes somebody who has passion for it. When you don't see other people join, so how do you at times, not like once, twice, I see him like that, just doing his thing, and his platform has really like even helped me. Somebody like me, I used to be shy. I used to be a very shy person. Yeah. So, yeah, but I think this platform has, I think the AI platform has really given me that, that boldness, okay, to share things I know, to share because before I do work as an instructor in a college before. So, yeah, but I don't usually come outside, to present and do, but, his platform, he gave us the platform to use, and that brought my confidence and boldness to it, shout out. So I just feel okay. Yeah, I think it's a good thing for us to just give him a shout. Yeah, and I think he really deserves it. Yeah.
And
Tell
Stephen,
us a little bit, Steve. Tell us a little bit about you too. What's your passion? Where you're from? Give us a little bit about you.
Okay. Like I think initially my passion in IT was, I was looking at cybersecurity. Yeah, but I think along the line it changes. So, and that's why I went into more of the infrastructure, and then now I do Office 365 and things like that. So I think right from my A-level days, so because back then, because I was in Nigeria before I moved into the UK, so I can remember then my dad would give me money and say, oh, go for lunch, take this money, go for lunch. So I and my cousin, so we'll take that money, we'll just go to a cyber cafe where you go to browse. So we just spend the whole money there, spend the whole hours, just stuff in the internet. Then I can remember the days of high five, we just stuff in the internet just so that passion grew. So, and then that was how I just took it as I said, okay, this IT might be something I want to venture into in future. And that was how I started. I started self-learning, and then that's on why I went to our computer college to just learn one or two things. And from there, I started learning things on my own. And like I said later on, I love IT. And I still do part of multimedia part of it, but that's the AV part. But I just love IT. So the passion has always been there. I really want to, and I'm a kind of person that if I have the opportunity to be like in a show where I wouldn't say, oh, this thing, I think I know it, let me just ignore. I want to join because I really want to learn new thing from that person. I want to say, okay, this thing, okay, if for example I say, okay, to create an Office 365, okay, I want to say, okay, is there another way I can create users in my Office 365? So I really want to join that training and see how it's been. I won't say, oh, because I've known it. So that's me, and that has really kept me going. And when I'm in a forum like this, at times I just love to keep quiet. I just want to listen. I want to grab one or two things from people. And yeah. So I think I just love, like I said, I love IT. IT has been my, I used to tell some of my friends, I said throughout my lifetime, I've never, IT is what pays my bills. I use IT to pay my bills. I've not done any other work to pay my bills. Just IT, and yeah. So that's it.
There's a couple of things that you said. You said that you started going attending the weekly shows, the Azure AI show. You were shy. I do remember a year ago you would always join, you would just smile, you're observing, taking it all in, and you have come out of your shell, right? So you're not as shy and not as you have more confidence in presenting and speaking, and we watch you actually grow right on Frank's show, right? We've actually
True.
watched you grow. So again, I just want to throw that plug out there, for people who want a platform to be able to share their expertise. The Microsoft Speaker Hub, as well as the Azure AI show, is the place to join. Yeah, same with me. I'm not shy, but I didn't have a platform to actually showcase my expertise. So Dan and Frank helped me with that. Yeah.
And I really appreciate the shout out, Stephen, for mentioning Frank, because as MVPs or even as non-MVPs, not awarded, there's one thing that we all have control over, and that's how we recognize others. Mm-hmm. So your contribution and suggestion is what started this whole thing. And then I figured I'd reach out to Scott. Scott was kind of a long shot because I know he's super busy. And the last time he ended up doing me the honor of just giving Matthew a quick shout out that we did in a video with anybody else that we could do. Teresa, similar to what I did for you when you received your MVP. So that's kind of what I was expecting, but I was like, hey, we're live. We might as well send a link. And lo and behold, Scott's super, super cool.
Yeah.
So Teresa, did you want to share your screen?
I was just, let me share it again. Hi, Joseph.
Hey, Joseph.
I think he didn't.
He must be driving.
Yeah, I think he's.
I was trying to figure out if he was celebrating Frank or driving.
Yeah.
let's take that part, celebrating Frank. Can you? I'm just trying to share my screen again. Can you see my screen?
Let me see if it's.
I switched it, but it says.
Yeah, I got it.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Okay, so choose a letter. Somebody choose a letter, and let's put a question out there that we can talk about and have a discussion. And Tashara, you want to choose a letter?
Yeah, let's go with the first one. Let's go with the first one. Not that random. So let's go with the passionate.
Okay. It says, what motivated you to pursue the MVP award?
Okay, so that's a question to me. I'll take that question. Okay, so basically, I'll say I never actually, I was never motivated only for the award. So whatever, like I have been in Microsoft community ecosystem, and as I was mentioning earlier as well, right, for almost 9 8 9 years now. So
Mhm.
since I was a student, I went into a Microsoft student partner community, and these days they are called Microsoft Learn Ambassadors.
Mm,
So
mhm.
basically, I was the initial part of that. Got into Microsoft community. We had a really good run around that. We shared technology within the student communities, and as well as a couple of I'll say developer communities as well. We got really great experience, and basically the feel that you get after sharing the knowledge, and there is a couple of people who are getting benefited from your knowledge. Basically, that's where you get your motivation, and
Mhm.
MVP is just a byproduct of that. And I remember, Teresa, we were having this discussion, I believe, at MVP Summit as well. And you said, I never knew there is something called MVP, and I was doing all these stuff, and you were doing great stuff already. It was just a
Yeah.
recognition that was pending, and then you got it as well.
Right, right. Yeah, I didn't even know what it was, right? I didn't even know that it even exists. I knew nothing about it. Once I started, because on LinkedIn, I think I didn't have a lot of IT followers, and so I wasn't seeing all these posts about MVP, and it was just really being passionate about um, sharing my knowledge with end users. I was focusing on Outlook because I knew that people were having a difficult time transitioning from classic to new Outlook. And that was my whole inspiration was I want to help those people who don't, who is struggling, right?
Exactly.
And then this just kind of fell in my lap, and so yeah, I with or without it, I will still producing videos
Exactly.
or
And yeah,
sharing my knowledge.
loads of folks ask me like how to become an MVP, and I always say it's not an exam that you can do, and you can get the certificate afterwards, right? It's basically whatever you do towards the community. Basically, we get recognized for that, and anything and everything that we are doing that is helping the community. That's when you get recognized with. And I
Mhm,
say it's a big title to hold, right?
mhm,
Because then you get a big things comes with big responsibility. So you have a responsibility to share whatever things that you are learning, and whatever the NDA contents that you are getting first. You're getting hands on to those things, and then you're learning about those things beforehand, and making sure you're prepared to share and make other people understand once this comes out.
mhm. Yeah,
So it's
the one thing that I thought I was going to struggle with is MVPs are sometimes entitled to non-disclosure information. How do you separate yourself from that? Right? So I thought I was going to struggle with that originally. But if it's public, I share it. I know where, but sometimes like I was really afraid that I was going to end up sharing something that I shouldn't be because it's not public yet, and but nevertheless, I that's one of the benefits that I do like for being a MVP is that you may gain information just maybe a day or two before it's public. We don't get a lot of time, and they do that carefully, right? So but the fact that we are aware and be able to prepare information to push it out to our distribution channels, right? So Microsoft has their channels, and then every individual have their um, distribution channels as well, right? That's how they get the word out.
yeah. And also, when you're passionate about something, you will always have a group of people following you or talking to you about the same things. So when you get the access to give the feedbacks back, so let's say you don't like the new Outlook feature where Teams is on the corner or something like that, you can always go back and say that to the product groups that, okay, this is not working. But it is not just your feedback, like you are representing a full community, basically a full group of passionate people who are with you, who are discussing with you, and your customers as well.
Mm-hmm.
So that's basically a really good byproduct of getting an MVP.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, agreed. Agreed. We had a question. I'm going to throw this out, and anybody can answer. We had a question about how do you balance your professional work with your community contributions, right? So we have our day jobs, right, which as an IT professional, and then we still do this. My husband and I were having a discussion because I was saying a hobby, and he says, "Well, it's not really a hobby, but still, yet you're doing community contributions. How do you manage that? How do you?"
Okay, I'll go first. So basically, and I believe that's where the P comes into picture, the passionate piece, right? So if you are passionate about something, you'll always take out time, and that's where. And definitely, I'll not say it is easy. And just I won't lie. Just today only, I was discussing with someone that being an MVP is a full-time job of itself, because you have to make sure by the end of June or June, you have enough contributions and you are doing enough in the community just so you get renewed, right? So that's where you do loads of stuff. Like if you take me, like I'm back to back going in different conferences in different cities where I'm presenting, and that's not part of my job. I'm taking out my weekends where I'm going, and as Scott mentioned, right, I was in Manchester last week presenting there. Next on 17th, I'll be in Aberdeen presenting in a different conference. All of that happens outside of your work, and managing that basically is you have to be passionate. It's not just like you'll think of, okay, I'll get an MVP, that's why I'll do all those things. You have to be actually passionate about the technology and passionate about community contributions.
Right. And I just want to say, because that's not really from an MVP perspective. That's even if you are just have a daytime job and want to
Yeah.
share your knowledge with others. Again, my husband was saying it's not a hobby. And I'm like, well, kind of for me it is. It's like in my downtime, I'm either learning or sharing or creating content. And it's because I want to, or I
Yeah.
enjoy it, right? So
Yeah.
we had a debate. Do you feel as it's your hobby?
It is a hobby. I'll say it is definitely a hobby. Otherwise, who likes to stare at a portal for hours and try to fix something which is broken? Definitely.
Mhm. Very good. Hi, Ami. How are you? Hi,
Hey,
Ami.
hi, hi. Just wanted to
Hi.
join. Yeah, hello.
Very good.
Nice.
We're talking about becoming an MVP or experience before being an MVP, and once we are MVP, and we're acknowledging Frank Foley as well today. So um, I had to pull this screen up just for you, Ami. Let me see if I can present my screen again.
Okay.
Oops, Dan, you might be faster at this. Here we go. You see it? I don't see it. It says I'm sharing, but I don't see it.
It's
Yeah,
There
coming
it
up
is.
now.
up
Now
now.
it
So
is.
we're taking the same approach again, Ami, where we're choosing a letter, having a discussion about the program from either sides of MVP or non-MVP, and we acknowledging Frank as well. So feel free to choose a letter. So it's just a random question, and go from there. Who wants to to go next or just wants to share?
Yeah, I think I'll go for M.
Okay, letter M.
And,
How do you, oh, got to get to the right question. Come down here.
Oh, it's a game. Okay.
Mhm.
Yes.
There and there's no
I like
winners.
your,
We're
I
all
like your
winners.
creativity. Your creativity shows.
So
I,
here's one. What kind of community contributions do you think are most impactful to you? What do you think is most impactful?
I think to me, I think one of the one that is most impactful to me is the um Azure show, which is, and the reason why I said so, it's because, like I said earlier on, yeah, I try to come out from my shell through that medium, and because, like I said, I used to be shy, you know, like, where I work before, I'm an instructor where I teach. So, but coming out publicly to speak is like it's like I'll call it like a tug of war. Yeah. So I think the AI show is on the for the fact for the fact that it's done weekly, because I try, because these days now I try to make sure, apart from not going to work on the Saturday, I try to
Mhm.
make sure I map out my calendar for that time, for that Saturday. I prepare myself, like I've shut down doors for any other program that is not really relevant for me. If it's not that important, yeah, it's something I can do away with. I do away with it just to make sure not necessarily because I want to present, but I just want to listen to people. I just want to be part
Mhm.
of the show. I just want to hear people speaking. Yeah, I just want to gain one or two knowledge from that show. Yeah, so I think that has really, really helped me. And I can remember the last time when I started, a friend of mine was also an MVP, reached out to me and he said, "Oh, do you want to be MVP?" I didn't even say anything to him. He just said, "Okay, I shouldn't worry." And he nominated me, and that was how I also applied for the MVP. But
Mhm.
unfortunately, I didn't really get that. But so I think it was via this show, because he did really see it. Like I do post on my LinkedIn, on my WhatsApp status, so he saw it. So, oh, you are speaking so is this part of it? So why don't you just go for it, give it a chance? That was how I. So I think the Azure AI show has really been impactful to me, has really helped my career, and yeah. So that's it.
So it makes me think, and this is for everybody, it makes me stop and think for a second, visibility, right? Our
Yeah.
visibility to different communities. What are your thoughts about that? Do you feel like, if you were sharing with someone who's not an MVP, do you feel like you have to be everywhere? Or, how do you feel about the visibility, how it helps you potentially become an MVP?
Yeah, I think visibility. I think there was a time we were talking about that with Solomon, because I also belong to the ABC of Cloud, which is Solomon. So Akmada was a time we were talking about that visibility. We say you need to put yourself out there, because no one is going to put you out there if you don't put yourself out there. If you know something, put yourself out there, because that's people want to see what you do. Don't look at the numbers. What you just need to do is just to make sure you are out there. You just put yourself out there. Let people see what you can actually offer. And when I started posting on my LinkedIn, like, okay, I just okay, let me start posting. And I remember the first day I posted something on my LinkedIn, I remember then a recruiter actually contacted me, and I was that was when I knew, that was when I understood about visibility. So putting yourself out there is actually very, very important. Let people know what you do, because it's not about, oh, I want to be I want to have maybe the I want to get the Microsoft MVP. No, just put yourself there. You never can tell what can. what can come out of it. But putting yourself out there gives you that more visibility, makes people to understand and say, okay, this is what this person does. Okay, like for example, we are all here on this show now, uh, and you can see. So if anyone joins this show now, it will definitely know that, okay, oh, so this guy is a tech guy. Oh, this person is a tech guy. Oh, this. So the reason being is because you put yourself out there. I've seen a lot of people that say, okay, I'm a tech person. I'm a tech this that. But when you ask them, okay, what have you done? They say, oh, I've done this, I've done that, and they are not out there. They're not. Yeah, and I think even now, I think even in the UK now, if you want to get job, I think most of those recruiters they still go to your social media page. I remember a lady who needed a recommendation, and she reached out to me for recommendation, and the company sent me the for the reference this thing. And the next day, I just saw the guy who is the recruiter went and followed me on LinkedIn. I was wondering why he followed me on LinkedIn. So I think visibility is quite very important. Yeah.
Mhm. Avi, what do you think about visibility?
Is this to me?
Yes. What do you think about, the visibility, before and during MVP status?
Well, I think the most important thing is a person that wants to share his knowledge. It doesn't matter if it's each one can choose his own platform. Some people are comfortable just with a YouTube channel. Others are people comfortable with public speaking, and others are in blogs, and so each one can choose his way that he feels. Now it can
Mhm,
be a combination, but
mhm,
some specify only in one area, and I think the MVP should not be the target. It- If you receive
we
it,
talked
then
about
it's
that.
it's then it's nice and it's a compliment. And but if you start, I mean, even if you can be nominated and then you could not have enough contributions and stuff. And also in my case, the first time they nominated me, it took 1 year and then I got a rejection. And I said, let's try again. And
Mhm,
I would continue doing my stuff no
mhm,
matter if I was an MVP or not.
mhm, mhm,
And so just um, you should take your knowledge and find a way to share it. And the rest is, will come. Of course, it's good to have networking and to meet people and to share. And
mhm,
once you're in the MVP, you have opportunities also to collaborate with people in the MVP community and also people from Microsoft from the product team that you can give them more feedback.
mhm,
But I don't feel that I have more knowledge than anyone which is not an MVP.
mhm,
Sometimes they have more. It's
mhm,
just that maybe I have, I don't know. Well, it really depends because even it's not that clear how Microsoft chooses the
mhm,
MVP because it's they're making the considerations harder and but I'm privileged that I was chosen, and it gives lots of responsibility, and sometimes you need to maybe balance between and say, don't overdo it, not to burn out, and just enjoy what you're doing. You
mhm,
know, it's not like work. Work you do things that you need to do. Here you do what you want. You can do
when you
choose what
want
you want
what you
whenever
want and
you
when you
want.
want.
Yeah, so some people take take the what they're doing and turn it out to a business, and that's perfectly okay. Although I know most of the things, Microsoft, I don't think allows you to what you're doing at work to be considered as a contribution while
Mhm,
work. It should be out of work, but it can be, something in between. So this is my uh, what I
Uh,
wanted to say.
you made a good point that what you do in your job role, your day job, you getting employed and paid for, those contributions are different from your really volunteering, sharing your community, sharing to a community. So there is a difference. And I also, um, help me if I'm right or wrong, Dan, if you are a government, within a government agency, you can't be nominated for MVP. Is that correct? Because
I
I thought
think
I saw a person was recently denied as MVP because he worked in the government sector.
it's if you work for the government. So
Yeah.
I think if you're a contractor, that might be different. But I believe if you're full time, that's an issue.
And if you are affiliated, I believe again as a contractor and full-time employee, you can't be an MVP. And if you have to wait a year, you have to wait a year after leaving Microsoft before you are nominated. So hi, Joseph. We're just having conversations just around MVP. Ami, we wanted to give you a chance to also, since she was just speaking, we are acknowledging Frank. Frank platform, had a platform for many of us, including me, became MVPs by sharing our expertise on his show. So here's our opportunity to thank Frank and acknowledge him today. Okay.
Yeah, so for me,
Larissa,
I
we
have
don't
to
see
be
this.
in a hurry to get home. Am I
What were you
speaking, please?
what
Yeah.
was you saying? Ami was wrapping up with.
No, I just was saying we don't see the slide that of the questions. We see the first slide.
Yeah, I didn't put them in on the screen because I
Okay.
pulled this together probably about 10 minutes before our show today.
Okay, so we're not
Oh,
missing
all right.
anything.
No,
Teresa,
Okay.
pilot.
you're just picking letters. Okay. Hermine, do you want to introduce yourself? And I don't believe you are MVP, but you have a wonderful story to share, your passion. And I had the opportunity to present at her user group 2 weeks ago and learned that she's been a MCT since 1996. And so you talk about passion, long time passion. So please share your story. I thought it was very interesting and inspiring.
Sure, I'll do that. Actually, MCP since 96, MCT since 2004.
Mhm.
So the first certification exam I took was a Windows NT certification exam. So it was a long time ago. I'm in the process of becoming an MVP. I'm putting in for it. Thank you, Dan, for recommending me. When you were talking about the fact that MVPs are under non-disclosure agreements, MCTs are also under non-disclosure agreements when they go to their meetings. And then I'm a Microsoft partner, or at least my company is, and we also have non-disclosure agreements. So I'm kind of used to signing away my firstborn, although I don't think they'd want him. But when it comes to sharing information with Microsoft that Microsoft doles out, why am I even becoming or considering an MVP? It's not the first time that I've considered it. Many, many, many years ago at a Microsoft Tech Ed event, I remember they had a wall of names posted of MVPs, and someone was standing there trying to encourage people to sign up for that program. And I asked about the program, but they told me that you had to be doing something within a specific category, and you could not be getting paid for their consideration. And it was a lot of rules back then. I mean, this is a long time ago, that they learned to massage if they really wanted people to participate in the program. The girls got to eat. So when you tell me I can't take my expertise and channel it, then it's, I was like, okay, I'll pass. But technically, I'm semi-retired, even though I still have a business. One of the things that I've always done, though, even when I was working for other people and subsequently for myself, is I've always participated in the community. And when I say community, I'm talking about, I don't know if you ever saw, there was an old movie out about the history of PCs where people used to meet in storefront, little storefront type shots with their Commodore 64s and teach each other how to program, that kind of technology at the time. Long time. And so I'm used to learning from each other because I've always kept my foot in the door with the community in general. And because I feel I belong to 3 communities, MVP or not, I'm going to hang with the geeks, then the MCT, and then the partners program. I'm just used to learning from other people and sharing whatever I can share with them. So I'm one of those people that likes to sit up in the middle of the night and go into tech and touch and feel and try all kinds of things. And then when I see something that's really, really cool, then I turn around and share that information with other people. I lead a user group in Detroit here. And the user group sprang out of attending Microsoft user groups. And the first user group I was involved with, at that time, Microsoft ran them, was the WinNT user group. Just to share with you how long I've been doing this without sharing my age.
Wow.
I know you guys can do the math. So I'm trying to keep it pretty general. But we would go to these Microsoft user group meetings, small business server user group meeting, like I said, WinNT user group, Windows server user groups. And then we sit around and kick the bobos. And then one day I said, the user group audience was getting smaller and smaller and smaller because they were always talking about the exact same thing. Microsoft had nothing near the product line that they had today. But, even today, there's only so much Copilot that you can stand all the time. Copilot, Copilot, Copilot. So we decided to become a general IT user group so that we could just change up. And then at that time, most of us were IT pros. So you couldn't be a single source of information in just one area. If you're going to be a chef, you have to learn how to cook beef and chicken, or chicken and fish. You can't just be in one lane. The Detroit IT user group is coming up on, I think, 20 years almost now. We've been around a long time, and all of the people that are involved are the ones that started off within those old Microsoft user groups. And I'm really good at volunteering people that they need to come and support, and recruiting people to help. So I've been around a long time, but what really got me passionate as a returning adult student going to college after the divorce and the kids were in high school, my first computer teacher shared with me what I just put in the chat, that the truly intelligent person is not the one that knows all the answers, but the one that knows how to find the answers. And when I graduated college, I graduated with a degree in programming. However, I just started teaching at my college.
Mm.
And I like sharing information. I like seeing people learn new things and get excited about what they just learned. So I wound up in corporate education, and then I've also taught collegiately, and I've taught in workforce development environments, as well as doing some installations. And I've always paid attention to the small business market because at that time, that was the market that was being ignored, especially by Microsoft, in my opinion. So that was my niche, dealing with small business environments. And that community has kept me afloat for many, 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 many years. And I'm very grateful that I launched my career the way that I did. Don't take that philosophy as your own, because I built a business on it. My business is called The Answer People. And you can see that that business sprang out of that philosophy. And every time I see that instructor today, I thank him very much, because that was the one thing that stuck in my head in that first class, is when he explained that to me. And I share that with every class that I teach and every group that I get in front of, because I feel that we can learn from each other. And if we can't find something out on our own, we can reach out to our community and get the information that we need to get. That's basically who I am. And you did a great job at the user group. And hi, Frank, congratulations. I'm coming right behind you. Wait for me.
Hey, Frank. Yay. The man of the hour, the man of the 2 hours.
Finally.
Glad you was able to join us.
Yeah, congratulations. Yeah.
Say this,
nice
everybody that I'm seeing right here. If I'm not following you yet, I will be following you. But I want to say that this group here has, and mostly due to Dan's efforts, because Dan, boy, he knows how to build a group of people.
I would say Frank and Matthew, Hermine, because Frank and Matthew they were the brainchilds behind this. I said, yeah, I'll attend. We'll see what happens. But, without Frank and Matthew, I don't think I would have had the wherewithal to go on a live, event on my own and try to build an office or, an audience. But Frank, you've stuck with it for almost 2 years at this point.
Yeah.
Before that,
yeah.
Right?
How long is the journey to the cloud going now? Is it?
It was. Arindam had dates in 2022, so he spoke with us kind of early, but that's 2.5, almost 3 years ago at this point.
Yeah, definitely,
yeah.
So
we call Frank the godfather of Azure. He's the godfather of it all, right?
And Copilot.
Yeah,
I kind of changed a bit for the MVP thing, kind of like Dan said to me, kind of a lot of people, maybe because of where I am from, Ireland, there's only 52 people have MVPs. So there's a good few of them in the Azure space. So because Copilot became a new space, I'm the first person in Ireland to get co-pilot.
Yay!
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Kudos to you. Very good.
And
I
so
mean, there was something that you said that I just wanted to add. You were talking about sharing your knowledge and everything. I remember it was really me being selfish in a sense of wanting to share my knowledge because I wanted the team around me, right, to also be just as a powerhouse in a particular application or whatever, right? So I'm going back to the early 90s as well when Microsoft was pushing their new product out. That's how far that I've been sharing my knowledge with people that I knew a lot of these advanced features and the rest of the team did not. And so I wanted to make sure that we all were on the same page, so to speak, so we can get things done faster or it didn't just fall on me. So that was one of the reasons why I got into wanting to share my knowledge with others, learn it and share it.
And how did that work out for you?
Well, I always like to say, learn it, use it, share it. Oh, it worked out because it was early in my career. I had small children. If I wasn't in, don't call me. If I was out to dealing with with my family or kids, right? We didn't have laptops and cell phones back then, right? So it's like, so the rest of the team need to know how to do it.
I want to say that technology actually helped me also become MVP because, imagine there was no internet. Wait, is Dan speaking? Because I think,
Dan, your mic is muted.
or maybe he's talking. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. It's going to be in a class. I think that's true.
Yeah, I wanted to say that the technology and the platform like YouTube has enabled me to spread the information to from to people in Australia. I'm from Israel, and from people in the US, which are the other side, and the platform that like YouTube, and also because I chose to do it in English, it made it much easier um, for the information to reach lots of people, and it became like a small village, even though we're geographically thousands of miles away, but technology wise we're next door, and so it's amazing how much just opening a YouTube, putting a video, putting high quality information that people can like or can evaluate, and it's amazing how much people can do that. And my concept was, if I can help one person in the whole world, my job is already done. I don't need 100,000 people, one or two that are happy that they found exactly what they were searching and no one else has done that. That's really happy to that people can enjoy it. So
It's
that's
pretty
my
amazing when I look at the analytics
So for
for
me,
my YouTube channel. You see 50% US, which is my country, and the other 50% is from all over the world, right? I always say, even some countries that I can't even pronounce, like, where is this country? And you have to look it up, right? So, Ami and Joseph, he has a YouTube channel as well. Probably have that same experience.
yeah, that's actually a very nice one for me. I Most of my viewers are not even from my country, as a matter of fact. There are
Mhm.
people from other regions, different folks. I just keep enjoying my comments, and somebody say, "Hey, even a very big organization could not resolve this issue that you just recorded. Hey, thank you very much, Joseph." and I'm just sitting somewhere here in Africa and helping someone in Australia. Is actually amazing, right?
Yeah.
Hamin, thank you very much. I listened to you, and I appreciate this comment from you. My personal philosophy is that the truly intelligent person is not the one who knows all the answers, but the one who knows how to find the answer. And that is what I'm taking away today. And that speaks to the comment I had on my LinkedIn page recently that says I am an expert in M365. Does not mean that I know everything. It only means that I know where to go and who to talk to when I need help. And that's exactly what you have reiterated in another form. So I want to say thank you very much for
Yeah,
the opportunity to listen to you.
absolutely. When I share this, I usually say if you knew everything, your head would explode. You know, you got to be able to get at the information that you need when you need it. So my first love was the internet back in the modem days when the modem screeched and squawked at you. I'm primarily a researcher, and now I'm in heaven with Copilot. Today. This is nirvana for me, but this wave 2 is really moving in a direction that would scare a lot of people, but I'm finding to be just the way it's supposed to be eventually. I know that there's a lot of people, though, that have to get on board. You can't fight it. I've learned a long time ago with Microsoft, especially, you can't fight it. People will complain about changes and why and the what's and why don't they. I'm like, look, just fall into it, roll with the flow, and get to learn what you need to learn. I just
embrace change.
Yes, I just got a paper
Uh,
book.
Herman, can I ask a question?
Sure.
When you started, was your training mostly to the without to like the black community, or was it more mixed? Or and were people in this environment was had different backgrounds or had less knowledge in computers than what they have now, which is more, I guess, equal or something like that?
Yeah, that's a great question, Ami.
Sorry, I apologize if it's something on what's it called,
You're good. You're good.
racist or something.
You're
But
good.
I know there was less people who had knowledge, or they had a starting point which was less as good as others. Okay,
Yeah. So
political correct. That was the thing I wanted to say. Yeah.
yeah, to give you some perspective, when I was in high school, there were no computers, so I was a math geek. Math was my thing. However, by the time I had gotten married, had a couple of children, and gotten divorced, and decided to go back to college, my college had punch cards and mini computers. So
Oh.
everything I learned was programs. I learned there wasn't a programming language I didn't take, from Pascal, PL1, Fortran, COBOL, ALGOL, RPG2. I mean, old school programming,
Yeah.
logic and flowcharts. By the time I got out of college, though, desktop PCs were the things, IBM's, Apple's, and Windows was a baby. My first program PC was a Windows 1.0 on an old compact 386 box. I used to travel with that compact that looked like a suitcase, because my first job was traveling all over the country and training at different companies all over the country. and
But
Mexico and Canada.
was that unusual? Usually for people.
It was kind of new. There was one company I recall that I went to, and they were expecting a Caucasian person. And so when I showed up, they were shocked because despite the fact that they were an all minority company, you know, the
Yeah.
third largest supplier to Ford Motor Company, actually, but they were a minority company. They thought the computer person coming to them was going to be Caucasian. My name is
Is that
German. That kind of
Asian?
Or,
thing.
and male, because there wasn't a lot of females in
Yeah.
technology back then too.
No, there weren't. But in my community where I lived in Detroit, I went to a college that was in the heart of the city, and
Okay.
it actually catered to returning adult students, and the majority of them were minorities. But my community college that I went to prior to that was they had branches all over the city and in the suburbs. So I had to drive about 30 miles to take one programming language because they didn't offer that language in the inner city. Today, though, that's all changed, especially since the colleges have expanded and since workforce development has incorporated a lot of technology training into their programs.
So, question there about the coding. Do people need to know it now with ChatGPT?
Absolutely, I think so. You know what? The big three of AI, which I think right now is ChatGPT, OpenAI, and
Copilot.
Copilot. Well, yeah, Copilot takes advantage of both ChatGPT and OpenAI in a sense. They use that like the foundational training, where back in the day when it was just the office applications, if you knew Word and Word Perfect, you knew any word processor. If you knew, wow, this will really date me. If you knew how to use multi-count and Lotus and Excel, you could do any kind of spreadsheet program. So you get those foundations under your belt, then you'll probably be okay going off into the future.
I have to say, and I think Hermine can say the same thing. We actually have grown with Microsoft, from start. I mean, when it first rolled out and to date, right? I do remember when all of those applications rolled out and was, learning them. I say technology, exciting times, just like back in the early 90s, how technology was exciting with all these new applications come out. I see it again, with the excitement with, them revamping a lot of their applications and providing Copilot. You got Loop, all these new technologies that they're starting to roll out. Just was remind me of way the excitement was around technology in the early 90s.
Frank, I want to say you asked if Copilot or ChatGPT would replace programming.
Yeah.
As Copilot is not the pilot and a Copilot, and so you need to know exactly to identify if it's not giving you rubbish or garbage, or at least to see what it offers as a starting point, but not as the final point. So you can see something, see if it makes sense, and then you can copy it or use it. But I would not recommend to use it blindly without evaluating the quality of the information that is provided. It can give
Yeah.
you sometimes good information, a starting point, but don't rely on it and give it, always doubt it.
Yeah. I done some testing with it on with JSON scripts, and it worked perfectly. I just gave it the parameters, and I had JSON script that I already done in Azure, and then I got ChatGPT, gave it the parameters, and it gave me the exact same.
I
Well,
think
I
I think Ami's point. Sorry, Ami, for taking word from you. I think Ami's point is that how could you have known that it was correct if you don't have knowledge about it, right?
Right.
Yeah,
if
yeah.
I take a PowerShell script from ChatGPT, I don't know PowerShell, I can ruin or delete everything in my and you know what? Sometimes there's some script that it invented, so it doesn't even it takes things that are mixed. Some are PNP, and sometimes it's SharePoint, and some PowerShell for other things. So it gives you, sometimes you need to guide them to give you exactly what you want, and you also
Mhm.
need to evaluate and see if it's right. So
It goes with
Definitely.
um,
text too. Even when it's generating documents, not even just coding. You definitely have to fact check it for sure.
So the way I look at there is, for example, if I needed, let's say, 10 developers for my team, and I have co-pilots to come work with two guys, I think it can form a kind of slimming down the number of people in the team, right? But the primary knowledge is very important first off, even to start with.
Yeah, I think to me, I think the co-pilot and ChatGPT, I think what it does is just to help people to balance work and lifestyle. Okay, let's for example now, if peradventure Joseph has a presentation to do, or maybe probably like on Teams, and he hasn't created his slides and he's running out of time, so he could at least he know what he wants to do. So if he goes to Copilot, okay, create me a presentation on this and that, so he has less work to do on that presentation generated by Copilot, and then straight away he jump into the meeting and he does his presentation, and it reduces the stress. So, but just like what he said, if you don't know it, so and if ChatGPT or Copilot is giving you, won't know that it's correct or not. So it still boils down to your knowledge. So I look at it when people say, "Oh, Copilot, ChatGPT is taking away my job." I don't think it's taking away any job. It's just to ease stress of people, and still because you still have the work to do, even if Copilot generates anything for you or the ChatGPT. Yeah.
I say that Copilot is my personal assistant or my business partner. That's why how I've been presenting it. It's my business partner because it's helping me getting things done. Only thing, I mean, heard me say this already. It just doesn't bring me coffee. It might tell me what it may tell me what type of coffee, but it won't bring it to me.
Yeah.
Keep this in mind too.
Elon Musk is working on that at the
Yeah,
moment.
Yeah, I
this
have a video coming out by the end of the week.
I remember how I was ecstatic when Access, when it first hit the store, and I could get a copy of Access, and that was my first 4GL database. It wrote its own code. I almost had a heart attack when I could get Access to write its own code, and I didn't have to code everything, because if you ever took a COBOL, if you lost a period in a COBOL program, you were hit. You were in big trouble.
We have
Especially
I spent many hours in the
Fortran.
computer lab because I had a backward slash instead of a frontward slash. Yes,
They have
Hermine, I
Fortran,
get it.
Fortran,
but
COBOL.
eventually, though, what will happen is the more Copilot and other AIs are refined, the more we'll become reliant on it being more right than it is today. It's not going to hallucinate forever. Eventually it's going to start learning what it needs to learn in order to provide you what you need for it to provide you. Just like I mentioned to Teresa, when you have an administrative assistant and they first come on the job, they may not know what you well enough, but over time, as that admin assistant works with you, they become smarter. And the same thing's going to happen with the AI. Now, if you pay attention, they're making the databases smaller and giving you more control over limiting where it goes and looks. If it's got to look through all the data on the internet, it's going to come back with some wrong information. But if you limit it as to what its parameters are for it to search, or if you're providing the data, you'll get more of what you're looking for. So over time, it's going to wind up not replacing the programming, but doing more of the programming for us so that we don't have to look to see if it dropped a period, for example. We can just look and see, if you're getting the outcome that you're expecting in a secure manner. Security is going to be really key in all of this. Sorry. Hi. Solomon, how you doing?
Hi everyone, I'm doing awesome. How about you guys?
Good.
Cool.
Yeah, it's nice to join
about the background.
It's been a very long time I've seen Solomon on any call recently. He's been behind the scene, making things happen.
Yeah, I've been a lot on my table, and I'm just trying to connect everything before I come back. And Frank, I want to give you a special shout out for your MVP award. If there's anybody that I'll say has been consistent on the journey to the cloud AI show, I think I'll give it up to Frank. And the award was something you deserved. And I was actually happy when I saw your post. Congratulations.
Yeah. Thanks very much.
Yeah.
It was a long time coming.
Of course.
Delay is not denial, right?
Yeah.
And
So
I was just listening about co-pilots, and yeah, that was actually a great conversation. Right now, we know a lot is happening, and personally, what I always tell people, when something is out there new, that's the best time. I always try to jump on it because it's actually easier for you to learn when you start from the beginning. It's not like you cannot learn it later on, but just think about how new features will be coming out and you're just growing with the product. But when you're starting to learn it, maybe later on in the future, because you feel like, oh, I didn't dream of this thing becoming this big and I need to get in. There are a lot of little stuffs that you would start trying to grab and learn, which is not possible. It's not like it's impossible. You can still learn it, but it will actually be better when you start early. And in terms of productivity right now, I think the last presentation I did, I used the free Copilot that we have for Microsoft Edge, and it was doing a lot for me. I didn't even use the paid version. I could achieve a lot. I could go through PDF with just the Copilot I have on my Windows 11 and the Microsoft Edge, which is actually awesome. And if this is this powerful at the beginning stage, I think there's a lot we should be watching out for as we are going on.
Yeah. So,
But
guys,
by the way,
can I just ask the MVPs, where they give you all the benefits, where they give you M365 and whatever. I've got 2 co-pilots inside my one.
Yeah, Joseph, you have it, right? I think Joseph have that as well.
Yes, I have, but mine is one actually.
What I wanted to say, Frank, is actually now when you go into the Office 365 homepage, you have the free one and you have the paid one. So you have like a tab where you can switch. So you can it's the free one is part of the O365 and you can do certain things. And you also have the paid one, which gives the ability. And as they announced, there will be also possibility to have pages, Copilot pages, where you can quote all kinds of things and like store them. That
Yeah.
I haven't seen it yet.
I have
I-
not,
I-
se- I have not seen the pages yet because I tried to explore it after the
Yeah.
wave 2. I tried it out and I've not been able to see that
But
yet. I
the
think
idea, you can pin this a page of Copilot, even if you don't have the paid one, to pin it to the side, and then users can actually use it, and it's within the 365 tenant, the free one, and you have the possibility to toggle to the paid one and use it as it is. So that's interesting to
I want to
check.
take this opportunity as well, because I was thinking that Frank was more or less, if you've already paid for Copilot, right, for your tenant, and with some of the MVP benefits, you do get a tenant as well through them. And I believe that you get like maybe up to 5 license to go with it. If you also get Copilot as well, so you could actually have your paid version to your primary account, and then this second one that you get the 5 license from Microsoft, you can add the free version with that one, so you could actually have one for training and one to run your business, right? So that's what I've done, is I have the paid version with my business account, and then with my training account, which came through the benefits, I added a Copilot to that. So you it, because I know there's some people saying, well, I've already have it, how can I still take benefits in from the MVP program?
So
So
you
that's
can.
an idea.
So I have a paid version of M365. I paid the 12 months subscription.
Hmm.
So I can't just incorporate the other one into it, like keep them
Right.
separate.
There's a
Doesn't your
help desk for
tenant have to be
MVP.
different? Doesn't your MVP tenant have to be a different domain, like an on
It does.
Microsoft something?
It does. Yeah,
Yeah.
because I have one. I have my my business account, which is Track Creation for E with Copilot there that I paid for, and then the second tenant, is for I use for training that I receive from the MVP benefits, and the Copilot that came with that, I paired them together. So just keep that in mind, because I know a few people was trying to figure out how to take advantage of both, right? Because you do get some of those benefits from being an MVP.
What about the third party things they give you? Is there anything good in there?
Say that again, Frank.
There's a third party benefits.
Mhm.
I think for me, what I find most useful for now, I'm not Solomon is laughing already. So you can speak my mind. Let me give you the mic.
I know you want to say the share gate because
Of course, of course,
it
you
can
already
actually
know.
help you to migrate testing. Like you can actually use it to learn about migrations, Exchange, SharePoint. Like there's a lot you can explore with ShareGate, and it's one of the third-party benefits.
Yeah. So it
And
has actually,
I think you
yeah.
can get okay.
You go ahead, please.
You can also get plural sites from the benefits, 1 year subscription. You also have LinkedIn Premium. LinkedIn is part of Microsoft, so maybe not.
I'm
Okay.
paying LinkedIn Premium already. Can I
You can cancel yours. Just
stop?
cancel yours. And exactly, I did same.
Yeah.
I cancelled mine. Yeah. So
when
there are a
you,
lot of other good stuff.
so when you cancel it, do you not lose any of your stuff inside in your LinkedIn account?
Yeah, I
know.
wouldn't cancel it. I would if they're giving you
Just switch
a
to the free one.
LinkedIn Premium, I would use it, add it to the same LinkedIn Premium you're paying for, and that extends the life of your LinkedIn.
Be careful because I
So
know that it with I had to let my LinkedIn premium expire and then redeem the
Yeah,
code.
that
So
sounds
be
even
careful with
better.
that because I had to let it. This just happened to me last week that I had to let it expire and then put the code in.
So I just
That's
cancel the payment and then it'll just go back to the free one.
As long as
so
you
for
use
this,
the same email, though, it'll keep all of your
Should.
contacts and things in there. But
Okay.
I would let support know at LinkedIn that you got a code, and then they can do it from their end too. Because what part of my volunteer work is I work with a workforce development school locally here, and I volunteer to meet with their students online once a month. And they have a relationship with LinkedIn where all of the students get a 1-year subscription to LinkedIn Premium. So I always, my form when they register for those workshops, ask, do they already have a LinkedIn account? And if they do, my experience has been they use the URL that's provided by LinkedIn and they log into their account once they use that URL, and it just adds it to the back end. I've
yeah.
learned more about LinkedIn than I ever wanted to know. I'm gonna tell you.
So for the subscription you're doing, is it like a 1-year subscription you paid for, or is something you
Yes,
pay
it's a
monthly?
premium. It's a premium. Yeah.
Okay. For Frank, are you doing the same 1 year? Because basically mine was something I paid for monthly. So all I
Monthly.
just needed to do, yes, what I just needed to do was take off the monthly subscription and then use the code. I claimed the code and it updated it. So it didn't
Okay.
have to do, it didn't have to, like, disrupt anything on my LinkedIn. So I just
Yeah.
had to end my subscription because the way the monthly subscription works, you will probably be getting charged every month from your card. So instead of continuing that monthly payment,
Yeah.
I ended the payment, then applied the code. Immediately it just continued from there. And
Yeah.
probably if you apply the code from the MVP code, I think sometime maybe around April or sometime this towards September is going to end, you can redeem another one. So you have like two. So you'll probably wait for this to end. When you apply the current one that you have now, then you can switch over to the next one. And that I'm actually using the one from last year, the second one right now. I've not even touched the new one I have. So
Okay.
that's how I handled mine. Yeah, but if you're actually doing like the 1-year subscription, that's when I think you might just have to wait for your subscription to end, then you switch over.
Yeah.
Some
Okay.
some additional benefits, Frank, that they do have a whole list. So, in your MVP portal, they have a whole list. One of them too is I think you get a discount for towards I think it's only one, you can redeem one discounts towards taking recertifications. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
but they just
so
give
that's good. Yeah. So for some of the folks who are happen to renew multiple certifications, I mean, this will help financially that you get a discount.
yeah, you get
But the MCT,
MCT
the
is better.
MCT,
It's
those with
better.
No,
MCT, they have 75.
any because I know for me, I took a PowerPoint certification and I was able to redeem the code for that. So you just have
Yeah.
to make sure you use, is it Certiport
Yeah.
is the
Certiport.
course.
Certiport is for the office apps.
Yeah,
You
but
should.
if you have MCT, I would say
Yeah.
you should use your MCT instead of the
MCT.
MVP.
Yeah, because you get
The MCT
70,
is going to give you 75,
75.
but the MVP is giving,
Oh,
yeah. So,
I
so
need
as an
that. I
MCT, I
need to.
just use exactly. So I don't really use mine. I just use my MCT.
So
I
Teresa,
can't.
you need to become an MCT.
I missed the
can't tell you
window and
anything
I've been
about the
trying to.
MCT program because I'm under an NDA. But I can tell you, you MCTs out there, that we have monthly meetings, and I really recommend that if you go into the MCT portal and attend the meetings, because there's a changes coming, and we'll still get 75%. And Teresa, if you're thinking about becoming an MCT, then I'll send you the link of where you can get information about what's coming down the pike to a certain degree. But now you can't be grandfathered in. You have to go through a process of being approved as a trainer with their companies that Microsoft has decided can offer you classes to be an official trainer.
Yeah.
Which is dramatically changed. In my day, I just got a letter from my boss and sent it to him, and that was it. It didn't cost me anything. Now these companies cost you to be trained as a trainer.
Yeah, trainer.
I see that I think there is a new method of renewal of MCT, but I don't have information about that in detail.
Can you log into the MCT portal, Joseph? Because it's a closed portal.
Yeah, so Joseph, there's a thing that you have to go into the MCT portal, right? And you have to change, the Microsoft name that's in there. It's like MC and numbers after it. You have to put your email address in there in that place.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
that's for metric that matter.
No more MCP ID.
Yeah.
That number doesn't mean anything anymore. My 6 digits don't mean anything anymore.
You have to replace that MCT number with your email address.
Yeah,
the same email address you use for certification.
I sent a link to the private chat. You can open that. You're going to see the changes.
Okay, thank you very much.
Change your ID to your email.
Yeah,
I actually did mine yesterday.
Yeah.
Since we're talking about how the MCT program is evolving, what do you think about the MVP program? How it's involving. I know there was a lot of changes this past year or so. So for some of the folks who's been around for a while, what are your thoughts? Any thoughts?
I'm not going to comment.
So, Teresa, I did kind of go through the process of, filling out those 24 things that they gave us.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm going through that process now.
Yeah, so you don't have to have the whole 24 of them done, because I ran out of time and I only got 19 of them done.
Yeah.
And
so I think it's more about quality instead of quantity at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, once you would write down every video I had, and I had like 100 videos, and now they said just list it once and just say how many views or something, and that was
you
enough.
Can just
so
yeah,
like the YouTube channel.
I done some stuff with Teresa. Like Teresa, you've done some stuff in the Microsoft community.
Yeah. What?
So I put some posts up there, and I got something like 10,000 hits on it.
Mm-hmm.
And I put that one in, so.
Mm-hmm.
So that even speaks to, while saying the audience, the reach. So how do you speak about the reach now that these are live events, that over time you will see a lot of engagement still coming up on them? Yeah,
so like for the weekly show we do there, right? And tonight there now I can see we have 4 LinkedIn, we're streaming to 4 LinkedIn channels, 3 YouTube channels, and 2 Twitter accounts. So that's how do you say how much you're going to reach there. Like, it's impossible.
Yeah, that's even if it's on the instance, but if you are collating this at the end of a year, these are events that are available online and people still keep coming back to watch them and all of that. So it will really
Yeah.
be difficult to even estimate now, not to talk about the future.
So I kind of done a guess a bit of it, right? So say we had, how many hits it's on LinkedIn, and I just done the average of it over the year. And because we're doing it 52 weeks of the year or 50 weeks of the year, I multiplied it by 50. So I got, 50,000 hits on it or something.
I was like Ami when I first filled it out. I started off with all these individual videos, and I was like, yeah, no, I'm not doing that, right? And just kind of summarize some of the top hitters. I focused on the top 5 videos. The other thing that I did was I gave them the link, so if they went to my YouTube channel, that they actually can see, because it was steady growing, the viewership was steady growing. The other thing is too is because Frank, I know you post articles on tech community as well, and it shows the number of views that post have received. Again, instead of trying to list all of them, I might have gave them a summary and said I've posted 100 times this year, and here's maybe the top 2. So and just give them the link to your profile, because then they can just kind of scan through your profile and look at the information and look at your contribution without you having to put everything in, right? Give them the link to it. So that's the approach that I took. Not saying that it's right or wrong. I'm just sharing what I did. And so
I want to say one of my contributions was to create WhatsApp groups. I know in the US, WhatsApp is not that common, but WhatsApp is a very interactive platform for chatting, and most of them are just named Q&A in SharePoint, Q&A in Microsoft Forms, and I have like 7 of those, each one in a different one, and each one can raise a question and automatically get an answer. I found out actually somebody wanted to be a wise guy, and he would take the question, go to ChatGPT, and paste it, and it was putting garbage. So I said, not allowed to use ChatGPT in this WhatsApp. Please answer from your knowledge and experience, and not just doing that. But um, it's really, I think, nice that it's possible. I mean, WhatsApp is limited to I think 1,025 members.
Yeah,
Maybe LinkedIn,
1,024 people. Yeah. So
yeah.
I'm actually
But
in one of
other
those your
platforms
WhatsApp
like
group. I mean,
WhatsApp, I mean LinkedIn, you can have a lot, or maybe there's other platforms.
with
But
Telegram also.
as most people in the world use WhatsApp for everything, then it's very convenient for them just to type something, and someone in the world can just answer. And even though it reveals your phone number, which is some people don't mind, but other people do. But I think it's a great way either to ask the question, or to support an answer, or just to share knowledge. So that's one of my initiative things.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
Reddick is another
I'm actually in one of those your WhatsApp group, the Q&A for Microsoft Forms. I mean, yeah.
yes, Teresa.
I was saying Reddick is another platform. So I will post or answer people's issues on tech community. There's tech community, and then there's an answer.microsoft. And then also, like I said, I go to Reddick and answers people's questions or post information. I will be proactive and share information, and then post the link to the YouTube if they want to watch. So those are just different ways that you can share your knowledge. So yeah, very good, very good. We have 15 more minutes. Anybody else want to share? We talked about a lot of different things about the MVP program. Is there any other questions or something that we have not addressed?
So I just want to make a comment based on what I was listening to when I was still on transit about how you balance your life and the community work, right? Am I audible?
Yep.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so for me, I feel that I put the community work sometime in between my activities because it can be boring sometimes to just stick on one thing. So when I become bored, I can just jump on my microphone and decide to share something quickly with the audience. But sometimes I can schedule it to be that weekend. I'm going to dedicate my Saturday for community service. For example, we are currently running a 3 months mentorship program for the M365 Nigeria community, and that's going to take effect from now to December. So when we roll out that program, we thought we were going to have like fewer than maybe 200 or 300. So I was surprised we have over 1,500 persons who have subscribed for that program. And on Saturdays, it's actually
Congratulations.
yeah, Saturdays and Sundays is usually very, very hectic for us. We give out tests to them, and now we are looking for how to create accounts, Microsoft 365 account for over 1,000 persons. And we are struggling to get an environment that will accommodate them so that they can have their hands on while trying to practice. So giving them assignments. So for me, I give the weekend for community service. I don't do any other thing. I just sit here where I am, just doing one or
Yeah.
two things for
I
people. So
I wonder, did you ever look at Moodle? Moddle.
ODDLE. I'm not sure I've looked at that before.
Yes,
Can you,
some
yeah.
some schools use that here in Ireland. It's a kind of a platform for sending out exams to students. And
Oh, I may have to take that down.
yeah,
So that's one too. So now they are rolling it into their project phase already. So we may need. You said it's MODDLE.
LE, yeah, Moodle.
Okay, so we'll try and look at that also. But
It's
we
actually
are look.
two O's. It's moodle.org. I just looked it up because I was curious.
Oh,
MOO.
Mhm.
good. So I'm just going to look at that. Thank you. So that's
Oh,
one thing.
what you
So
might
now,
have,
huh?
when I set it up, right, you have your own website, don't you?
Yeah, I do.
So what I done was I uploaded it to my C panel.
Okay.
So it's kind of run from that. So if you have a website, you have a C panel, you can upload it to that, and it's kind of run in the cloud then. So
Okay, that's
you
cool.
wouldn't have it.
I will discuss with the organizing team and see what we can do about that. That will
Yeah.
make a lot
Sure,
of
if you
sense.
need more information on it, let me know.
Okay, cool. So basically, that's what I do. For me, I just see my weekend as time to attend to community service, and then during the week, I put community service in between my core activities, so that when I become bored, I can pass time with the microphone or try to write something down just to, enlighten somebody. Especially this part of Africa that I don't know how it is in most places, but a lot of us still scouting for how to come into tech. For a lot of things are still new to us. So yeah, there are people that want to reach out on WhatsApp, and it is time to schedule when to go on WhatsApp to go and respond to people that are asking questions. Go to YouTube to go and answer somebody asking question about the video. So these are put in between so it actually balances my life for me. I don't see myself on the headphone throughout speaking to somebody who who is having an issue. When I drop off that phone, I may just want to respond to somebody's question on YouTube or jump on LinkedIn to go and say, hey, thank you for your, then jump into another thing, then try to balance my life. So it become a bit juicy for me. So that at the end of the week, I'm not really tired because I was not doing just one thing. So that's how I balance my own activities.
My tip is for myself was don't be shy, don't be afraid to record something or share your knowledge. At the beginning, it will be probably not as good, but once you start, and don't be afraid that your quality is not quality of audio, quality of pictures. Just start, no matter. Start, and you'll eventually. It's like riding a bike. At the beginning, it will be not as perfect, and while time, hopefully, you'll be get learning on the way, and if you know enough in your field, and then things will pick up. And for myself, I'm so happy. I didn't give a damn how I sounded or how I just said it, and I didn't mind if anyone else was listening. But afterwards, I guess either it was good enough, and I also improved. So this start, and that's the tip I have for other people, because
So
usually and be persistent. So that's what
I
I
mean
think
that
is.
I
this
echo that.
this reminds me, Teresa. This reminds me that we wanted to have a conversation with Teresa regarding going live to have a conversation on how to reach more audience with our YouTube content so people can learn, right? I mean, can you remember?
Yeah.
So I think we can come up with something on a live event as you proposed so that we can have that interaction and then have people join to contribute to that conversation.
Yeah,
Hopefully.
I echo what you said, Ami, because if I look at my first video, look at it in this sense. You've watched yourself grow, right? You went from terrible audio, terrible lighting, and you just keep getting 1% better for each video. And because when I look at some of my first videos, and I refuse to take them down because it reminds me of my growth, right? And I'm hoping to get better. So
And
yeah.
if you
And that's with
would,
anything, not just with YouTube videos, but that also goes to if you a blog writer, if you are a speaker. So, regardless of what your outlet is, you're going to get better. Just do it. Right? Just do it. So yeah.
Yeah, I think that's good. So you don't wait for the perfect time. Like I remember the first time I did my video recording there, I think I used Zoom. So I used to use Zoom. So yeah, so I had the premium license. So I used Zoom, but I wasn't really comfortable with that. But I just kept on using it. Then one time I just reached out to Joseph. I said, "Oh, what do you use for video recording?" And he said, "You can use OBS, and which is quite free. And most of these resources they are free that you can use to start. You don't have to break the bank to invest in all those things. Well, some are free, and yeah, and that's how I started using OBS. And I'll be using OBS for ages because I do streaming in my church. So I do streaming. So I use OBS, I use vMix. So I've never thought of it that OBS could really do what I really wanted to do. And that was a game changer for me. Yeah. I think, yeah.
And I
by
want
the
to
way,
give a shout out
PowerPoint.
to
No, I'm just saying PowerPoint. You can do a screen recorder, and
True.
it's not bad at all. And that's also very free, and it has it's
even
not bad at
sniping
all.
tool, right?
Yeah.
You know the
sniping
sniping
too
tool, you can actually do a screen record with your sniping tool as well.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Sniping too?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can. Yeah,
Yeah,
you
I can do
can.
that.
You can make a screen recording. And it's
I'll
great.
go and do that. I'll go and do that.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I'm just looking at the
Well,
clock, and we're about like 5 minutes till, and I just want to I want to just bring it back to
Okay.
the purpose of today's event was to celebrate Frank. Welcome to the MVP Club. Again, just keep in mind, MVP or PVM. Ami wasn't here when I shared that PVM is your passionate, visionary, and maximizer, right? You're doing it regardless if you're awarded MVP status or not, because it starts with passion, visionary, and maximizer. But Frank, I want to personally thank you. You've given me a platform to share my expertise, and I learned from you. And I love the fact that we call you the godfather of Azure. So
Thanks, Teresa. Thanks very much.
And Scott Engelman was here earlier, Frank, to wish you well, and had a few words to share with our audience. So.
Yeah, listen.
You missed a few people. There was a few people in the first hour, so you might want to watch the replay. There was a few people had some great things to say.
So I think we probably got the time. I got the time wrong. Then I'd say.
Oh, I apologize. I moved this an hour early because I've got a meet at the airport to go to Memphis. I'm going to the community day in Memphis for Friday.
I had a builder call to my house, so I couldn't come anyway. You know,
okay.
He was outside with a console, and so. But listen, it's been some week anyway. After getting the MVP, and I'll do my best with the community, and keep it going. And anybody needs any help with anything, reach out to me anytime. And the next big event now, Dan, is the MCT Summit in Manchester. So,
yes. So I don't know if I've heard back from the contact that I had at the Dublin office for LinkedIn.
Okay.
I did reach out to all of the Ireland Microsoft Learn student ambassadors, and I've gotten some interest from them. So if we don't hear back from the contact that I had respond from LinkedIn Dublin, I may try to put out a couple other feelers just to find out if we can identify who the office manager is. I think with the contacts that I had in Detroit, we might have a good opportunity just to figure out who that person is to contact.
Yeah. So you're kind of hoping to go a day before?
Yeah, I was looking at maybe earlier that week before we're in Manchester, and then I'd fly into Dublin, and we could do that tour, and then I'd fly over to Manchester for the MCT thing.
Okay, cool.
But if that works, I think it'd be a really cool way to see another Microsoft, subsidiaries office. Many MVPs haven't seen a LinkedIn office because it's not something that we get invited to unless we're LinkedIn learning instructors, which I would say is not as many MVPs as probably MCPs.
If that didn't work, we could maybe get those ambassadors and bring them to the garage.
Yes, the garage would be an easier ask because we know exactly who to talk to. And maybe we could do both. Maybe we could do morning at LinkedIn and then afternoon at the garage. That'd be really cool. I don't even know how far away they are. I'll have to try to figure that out. But I think that's the other kind of thing, Teresa, to your point about contributions, is just thinking about stuff that people aren't doing. If there's something that you can do for student ambassadors or for other MVPs that other MVPs aren't doing, it doesn't make sense to do the same things, but thinking about stuff that isn't being done.
So Solomon, it's Manchester in the UK that the MCT Summit is on the 9th and the 10th of January.
So I guess I will be saying Dan.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Because that's just behind me.
I will definitely.
That was actually the first place I met with Matthew Brown. The first
Cool.
time and the first, yeah. So
Okay.
we met there. That was
Yeah.
for Microsoft Ignite 2022.
Yeah.
So is it in the same place it is?
I don't know if it's going to be in the same place, but as long as it's going to be somewhere in Manchester, I'll be
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So then we kind of have to get the dates pretty
Yes.
soon because booking flights and accommodation and that.
Let me know if you have dates that you're thinking of, because I was thinking just earlier in that week, so like the Monday or Tuesday maybe of that week.
Yeah.
I think we're in Manchester Thursday and Friday.
Thursday and Friday, yeah.
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 And Wednesday is probably the last day we could fly and be there for the 2 days. But we
Yeah.
might want to fly Tuesday. I don't know.
So,
Yeah.
I see,
All right,
Teresa,
well-
you want to bring the show to a close, right? Before that, I want to sincerely appreciate Dan. Dan, you are a great guy. I see your support behind Frank, especially when he was on vacation. You were here and there telling people about giving Frank recommendation, honest recommendation, and I must commend you as a very big support and an encouragement to us. And I see more wins coming here, and yeah, keep doing the great work, Dan. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Joseph.
So we'll have to try and get Stephen over the line now for his MVP.
I know it's easier for me to ask for favors for others than to ask for favors myself. So that's one thing that I thought about with recommendations. It's so much easier for me to write a recommendation for somebody else like you, Joseph, or Teresa, Stephen, Frank, Solomon. But it's harder for me to ask for people to write me recommendations or ask something for me.
Sure.
And the amount of, I think people that took the time to write Frank recommendations, I'm super appreciative of that too, because I can't write, many as one person, or they, eventually it's just shouting into the wind. But if everybody that's been affected takes a little bit of time to share what that support's meant to them, it means a lot.
Yeah.
So thank you, Frank. Appreciate it.
Okay. Thanks, guys.
Joseph.
Yeah.
This is a really cool community.
Yes, of course.
Yeah, and again, I think sorry, before we round up the show, I think the one person I also really want to appreciate here it's Solomon. Yeah, the reason being is because I've been with Solomon for a very long time. We've been together. I remember the first thing we learned web designing together. So that was where I knew Solomon was something else. Something else entirely. Like what you do in the community. Like if I look at the ABC of Cloud now, if I see some of those guys, I see some of them doing coming out from their boldness, even creating videos. Like when I started IT, I don't even have that boldness to do video then. But I can see some of them, they do video content, they do write-ups and things like that. So it takes within just a short of period. And I think one thing Solomon is that it doesn't look at the time, oh, this 6 months is too long. It's also like 6 months. So whereas other people will tell you that, oh, come and learn XYZ in the space of 2 months, especially of 1 or 4 weeks, and which we all know that it's not possible. It's not that possible. So it doesn't look at that. So if you are ready, and one of his training we did when I started with him actually made me I'm always at times when I go to work, I take my iPad with me so that in the bus I join the class in the bus. When I get home straight away, I put on my computer and then we do. And so it has really, really, really helped me also a lot in some areas. Like I can remember the Active Directory was something I wasn't really into. I just know how to create a user and then I just stopped from there. And I remember I went for one interview and I was given a practical. I think I even have that script. I don't know where I came in. It's practical scenario of Active Directory, and I messed up. So I really messed up. So I think Solomon, you are really doing a nice job, and it's not easy to put people together, make them sit down for like 6 months, and then give them something. Some people, yes, we know it's not everybody that will stay up to that 6 months. Some people will get tired and it all depends on the passion, just like what you're talking about today. It's when you have the passion for that thing, no matter what, you will shut down a lot of things just for that. I remember then there's some things I shut down. If there's one thing Solomon Jali said, he said, even if you have wedding parties, it's not all wedding parties you have to attend. If you can even give that your friend the money, the person will appreciate it. Giving that money, and while you spend your own time developing yourself. So it's not all parties or programs. Just shut out all those things and just to improve yourself, and which I think a lot of folks in that group are doing, and it's really helping. I can see a whole lot of posting. At times, when I see anybody post, I was just good, just like I trust the content, so I don't even really, I just like it. So when I have time, I will read it and then give it a shot. So thank you, Solomon. I really appreciate what you're doing. Thank you very much.
So I'm sorry we're extending beyond time, but Solomon, we can't finish talking about it. I've watched our Azure video from the first class to the sixth one today, while in the bus going to the office, while in the office, and while coming back today. So it's always new every morning when I go through those videos, and I give you thumbs up. Thank you very much. Yeah, it's not 6 months, Stevens, to quickly correct you. This is the 10th month of the year, right? And we are still here. We are still riding.
When we started our own there, when we did the first class, it was like, yeah, and it's a kudos to him, because I think Solomon goes a long way, not just to teach you, but also give you the resources. Like I see, giving people laptop, giving people internet modem to work with, give people. I can remember when I wanted to buy my own Windows Pro key. I bought it for like £35, but Solomon was giving it free. I was like, what?
Yeah, this one, can you see mine there? So that's my if mine showed up on the camera. That's my 5G router.
So yeah, so like I remember when I started Azure, then I used to do the pay as you go. I put in my card. When I started spinning a virtual machine, I said, and then when I look at the one more day, I said, come on, this is what I charge. I had to remove my card. But Solomon gave me that resources for free now. Like I can do a lot of price. So to be honest, you're a great guy. I really appreciate you for that. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you everyone for all your support. And to be frank, right? Dan, Frank, Teresa, and all of us, like, we are doing a great stuff. For me, I always tell people, I've not really told people my story about the process I went through, but I went through hell learning a lot of stuff. And somehow people ask me, you don't sleep at night? And the reason I, had that bad habit was because of what I went through. I didn't have people to ask questions. I didn't have some resources. I'm trying to target when there will be light, electricity, so I can, connect my laptop and all of that. And passing through that process, I don't really want people to go through that process as well. So I try to see how much I can help. And to be frank, the last ABC of Cloud training I just ended, at the beginning I was scared because I don't like working with crowd. I always just hold like maybe 30 to 40 people. But this time I was seeing like about 100 people. I was really scared. But then the good thing about it was that when I started the journey, I had people that I've already trained like as far back as, 2021, 2020. So what they did, they stepped in and they were able to like help me. Look at Joseph was also one of the people that trained. Ebenezer was somebody that was a DJ. He was not even doing anything about tech. I trained him. And guess what? He was also into the training. He handled Exchange for me, explained everything, ran scripts, showed them about GitHub. And that was someone I trained. So it was more like, everything is coming back in circles. I have someone, I think, Sam, he was able to get a job, a remote job. He was able to fund laptop for about 3 people in the training that were joining. He was able to fund their data money. And so it's more like, as I'm giving it out, most of them, they're coming back and also, sewing it into the whole process. So for me, I'll just say I just have to do that because I don't really wish someone to go through the same stress I went through. And at the moment, I'm actually scared for the next because I have a lot of crowd DMs, wait list of people that want to join. I don't know what it will look like, and I just hope I'm able to cope. So, Teresa, I think your mic is mute. You try to say something, but then I think it's just one of those things you do to help people out there. I do get a lot of testimonies, a lot of calls. I even got a call recently, and someone got a job that the offer was mind blowing. Like it was mind blowing. Like it was like, you know, when you say the strong 6-figure job, that was what the person got. So, and all of those stuff is just part of, you know, the things we do, and we just,
as a trainer, that's where you get your satisfaction, when you watch people grow, right? That's where we really get our satisfaction, watching. I used to say with SharePoint, watching people that knew nothing about SharePoint, that over time they become a power user, and it's because of the knowledge that you shared. I always like to say, I like to share with people the limitations, things that you think that the program should perform in this way, but it does not. Share that, because you don't want somebody else might be thinking it and wasting time of doing something that you've already tested and shared, and it doesn't work that way, right? So I make sure that I always include the limitations as well.
And to be frank, also, you are also learning. So I would say most stuffs I end up like, basically we all go to work or we have stuffs we are doing. And if you look at your career, sometimes you resume your daily activities, you're doing stuffs that you might not, you know, you might not come back to, like, you know, doing simple stuffs like building servers. You might just be more about migrations and all of that. But when you train, it's just a way for you to take your step backward, learn, relearn, checks updates, because Microsoft, they are actually very good at updating stuff. So you check those updates, learn again, learn new stuff, you interact with people, people bring up their ideas. I've seen people that come up with challenging questions that I have to tell them, okay, we're all going to pause the training, let's do research. We Google stuff, and then I just learn. So I think it's just a whole lot of things that are connected, and it's just also an amazing time. But sometimes it comes with a whole lot of, you know, sacrifice as well. And thank you all for your kind words. I really appreciate it.
Yeah.
Very good. So listen, guys, I'm going to have to fly. The builders left a mess. Going to have to clean up. But thanks again for all your kind words, and talk to you on Saturday.
Sounds good, Frank.
Okay.
Good.
All right. Thank you, Frank. Thank you very much.
Bye.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Thank you, everyone.